In a quiet village surrounded by vast fields and rolling hills, a young man named Kabir lived with his family. Life had never been kind to him. Born into poverty, he spent his childhood working with his father in the fields and watching his mother stitch torn clothes under dim candlelight. The villagers believed he was destined for the same struggles as his ancestors, a life of hardship, working on land that never seemed to give enough. But Kabir refused to accept this fate. He believed destiny was not something given, but something earned. Despite hardships, Kabir was curious. He observed the changing seasons, the movement of water through the soil, and the way crops reacted to different conditions. While other boys played, he listened to old farmers, absorbing their wisdom. He asked questions that others never thought to ask. Why do some crops thrive while others fail? How can we store water better? What if we try different seeds? The elders laughed at him, dismissing his ideas as childish dreams. One summer, disaster struck. A severe drought ravaged the village. Crops withered, cattle perished, and families struggled to survive. Kabir's father, who had farmed all his life, lost hope. The little savings they had were gone, and debts kept piling up. Many families abandoned their lands, seeking work elsewhere. The once lively village turned silent with despair, but Kabir refused to give up. Instead of waiting for rain, he searched for solutions. He experimented, digging deeper wells and trying new irrigation techniques. He buried clay pots underground to retain moisture, planted trees to cool the soil, and built makeshift reservoirs to store rainwater. People mocked him. "You cannot fight nature," they said, but Kabir believed otherwise. Determined to learn more, he traveled to a nearby town, working in a factory by day and attending free farming workshops by night. With his small savings, he bought better seeds and tools. Armed with new knowledge, he returned to his village, ready to challenge the odds. Back home, things were worse than before. Farmers were leaving, and the fields lay barren. Kabir convinced a few families to stay and try his methods. The journey was tough. Some crops failed, and doubts grew. Perhaps the elders were right, some whispered. But Kabir refused to stop. He adjusted his techniques, learned from every failure, and kept pushing forward. Months later, green shoots appeared in his fields, while the rest of the land remained dry. The soil, once cracked and lifeless, was now full of life. By the end of the year, while neighboring villages struggled with famine, Kabir's fields flourished. The same people who had once mocked him now sought his advice. His success spread beyond the village. Farmers from distant towns came to learn from him. But Kabir did not keep his knowledge to himself. He shared it freely, teaching others about water conservation, crop rotation, and sustainable farming. Over time, he helped revive the entire region, proving that knowledge and resilience could overcome even the harshest trials. Years passed, and Kabir's efforts transformed his village. The barren fields turned green, children went to school instead of working in the fields, and no one went hungry. The once forgotten village became a model of sustainable farming, attracting visitors and researchers eager to learn from Kabir's methods. One evening, as Kabir stood on his flourishing farmland, watching children play under the same sun that once scorched their fields, he realized something. He had not just changed his own life, he had changed the fate of generations to come, not by waiting for miracles, but by becoming one himself.